Hi, welcome to Finding Stuff Out, the show where I answer your questions. Today's episode is all about being sick because, well, I'm sick. The bad news is I can't go to school. But the good news is I have time to look stuff up for you. Here on the show that knows all.
How come your nose gets runny?
Why does your nose run? So it can get away from the smell. But seriously, the short answer is, I don't know. That's why it's called the short answer. But by the end of the show, I'll have your answer. Here's another question.
Why do we get sick sometimes?
The Flat Earth Corner! Why do you get sick? Well, you've come to the right place. Welcome to medieval Europe. We've got all the filth, disease, and plague you've ever wanted. So where do you go when you get sick? That's right, me, your friendly neighborhood barber. As any good barber will tell you, you get sick because of evil spirits. And the best way to get rid of evil spirits? Drain your blood, of course!
Hey, come back! I thought I heard you sniffle. I can bleed that cold right out of you. Trust me, I'm your barber.
Forget evil spirits. Nowadays, we know that germs make us sick. Now here's the next question from Logan.
What do germs look like?
Sorry to be rude. It's just that I've got a lot of germs for you to look at. Here, I'll just use my handy super zoom-o-matic. I can't make any sense of that, but I know someone who can. Please welcome my special guest, germ expert, Caitlin Soy.
Hi. Hi, Harrison. How are you?
Good.
I brought you something today.
I'm a little old for stuffed toys, I think.
This isn't a stuffed toy. This is one of the deadliest viruses we know, Ebola virus.
I think I'm a little young to die also. So these are stuffed toys of germs. So do germs such as like the chicken pox, do they actually have like a red thing and like two really big eyes and stuff?
No, they don't. These are just toys, but different viruses and different bacteria, they do look different from each other. They don't just actually look like this.
This is what viruses and bacteria really look like.
Chickenpox is often a disease that we get in childhood.
Yeah.
I don't know if you had it. I remember having chickenpox and I had the rash all over my body with those itchy spots. Not very fun.
And what's this purple one?
This one, his name is the kissing disease, and it causes the disease called mono, and the virus is called Epstein-Barr virus.
Ooh, has a nice long name.
It does have a nice long name. Most of these viruses do. This stuffed animal represents rhinovirus. It can cause the common cold. This one represents measles virus and often infects children.
What's the difference between a virus and a bacteria?
Well, viruses and bacteria are two different things. They can both make you sick. Viruses are special in that they can't live on their own. They require a host, someone like you, to allow them to live. Whereas bacteria, they're bigger and they can live on their own and they can grow on their own and they don't require someone or something to live in.
That's a lot of ways to get sick. I'm surprised at how different they are.
Well, there's bacteria and viruses almost everywhere, even in that glass of water. Maybe 50 million bacteria could be in that water.
50 million? Am I gonna die?
No, you're not gonna die. Don't worry. Most bacteria don't make you get sick. They're there to help you. And so there's many bacteria within your stomach, and they help you digest your food. They help fight off bad bacteria and bad viruses that come into your body, and they help keep you healthy and keep you happy.
So how do viruses make you sick?
Well, viruses come into your body and they need to find a place to live. But your body doesn't like that and it wants to get it out because it's starting to make you sick. So your body's immune system rushes to the point, and often this results in a fever. That's what makes you hot and sweaty when you're sick with a virus. And that's your body's way of fighting the virus and to try and get it out of your body so then you can get better.
So would you say viruses or bacteria, like is there one that's worse for you or?
Nope, they both can make you very sick and they can both not make you sick. It depends on the specific bacteria or the specific virus.
So how can we prevent getting sick?
One of the most important things to do is to wash your hands.
Whoosh.
Other things that are really good is to cover your nose when you sneeze.
Yeah.
And one big thing that you can do, and you probably did it when you were a kid, was to get a vaccine.
Yeah.
Do you know what a vaccine is?
It's a needle, right?
Yeah. But what a vaccine does is it comes into your body and it teaches your body how to respond to a virus infection.
Yeah.
So sometimes the vaccine can come in and it pretends to be the whole virus or part of the virus so your body can practice. Kind of like when you practice to go out on the hockey rink. You go to your practices, you practice the games, then you go and play the game. So when you've been vaccinated, your body's had that chance to practice. So when the big game comes or the challenge and you get infected with the virus, your body is ready and it knows what to do to prevent the infection.
Well, cool. Thank you, Caitlin, for being on my show.
Thanks for having me.
Now here's a question from Adam.
How does a germ make you sick?
Just thinking about germs made me a little ill. But to answer your question, Adam, let's get animated.
Okay, here we've got a drawing of an extremely handsome human being.
Why, thank you.
Now, if a germ got inside this person,
Hey, wait! What are you?
This looks like a good place for an invasion.
I don't feel so good.
This is my host now.
The reason you don't feel good is because there's a fight going on inside of your body. It's you versus germs. Sometimes a fever is your body's secret weapon.
Nothing can stop me. What's that smell? Uh-oh.
How do germs get in people's bodies?
Well, Maria, the same way this washed and very healthy apple does. Through our mouths. But unfortunately, unlike this apple, germs won't keep the doctor away. Basically, germs can enter through any hole in your body, like a cut that you didn't wash properly. Hey, holes in your body. That would make a fantastic song!
You've got holes in your head, that's where a germ goes. It can enter your body through the holes in your nose or the holes in your head. We all have holes in our head where germs can get in and make us sick. Sick. Germs sick. Also, would it give you a shock to know that germs can get in where you talk? Germs get in. Germs get in. Germs get in. Germs. They can enter your body through the holes in your nose. Gross. Disgusting. Nobody likes germs. I use my hands for a much better task. I use them to call up the questions you ask.
Can you get sick by not washing your hands?
Let's find out. It's time to get some Street Smarts. I'm here at a school pulling a little prank while the kids are at recess for the interest of science. Now, I'm covering stuff that kids touch every day at school with special germ powder.
don't worry, I'm not putting real germs on anything. The powder just represents the germs and shows how they get onto your body.
You can't see the powder though without a black light. See what I mean? It really works. Now I'll come back after recess and see how much of the powder gets on the kids' hands. Hi, everybody. Hi. Would it surprise you to know that I covered everything that you've touched earlier today in special germ powder? Yep, but luckily it's not actually germ powder, or else you'd have germs all over you by now. So just give me 1 second and I'll be right back. Okay, so come stand in front of this special black light. It'll show any germ powder that you have on yourself. Okay, I'm gonna turn the lights off now.
Cool. Oh, that's so nice.
Where?
I have a lot. I have a lot next to my nose.
So as you see, you have a lot of germ powder all over you, but some of you have it on your faces because, well, you touched the germ powder and then rubbed it on your faces. Yeah, like me. That's why you need to wash your hands. Which brings me to... So now we're gonna cover your hands in more germs, which is actually just some special goopy stuff that will glow in the black light. Everyone has their hands covered, right? Yeah! Now here's the challenge. You're gonna go wash your hands and the one with the cleanest hands wins. On your market, set, go! You all have 30 seconds to wash your hands. So clean up well.
The best way to wash your hands is to wet them under warm water. Then, Away from the water, add soap and rub them together to work the soap into a lather. Rub the soap into the front and back of your hands, including your fingers and under your nails, for at least 15 seconds. Then, rinse your hands and pat them dry with a paper towel, and voila! You got clean, germ-free hands.
Okay, stop! So under this ultraviolet light, I'm going to be able to see how well you cleaned your hands. So I'm going to be grading on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being very clean and 1 being extremely germy. A 4? Ooh, that's pretty good. I'd say 7. 8? A 4. 4 also. So I'd say a 9. -1. 5. Oh geez. 2. So it looks like we have a winner, and it's Caleb!
You're full of germs again.
Oh man.
Okay, bye.
You want to know something weird? We wash off germs, right? But if you get used to being around some germs, your body builds up defenses against them. I read that having a messy room is actually good for your immune system. Unfortunately, my mom still makes me clean my room. Now here's a question from Liam.
Can you live in a germ-free environment?
According to my mom, I'm not capable of that at all. But for the real scientific answer, let's go to my roving reporter and good friend, Sydney.
Thanks, Harrison. This is the National Microbiology Laboratory in Winnipeg. They know lots about germs here. In fact, they study the world's deadliest.
The security is so tight here, we aren't even allowed to show you the entrance to the building. But this is what's in here. These are some of the most dangerous germs in the world. They may be small, but they're nasty.
Today I'm here with microbiologist Dr. Gary Kobinger, the head of special pathogens here in the lab. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, you're most welcome.
Why is it so tough to get into this building?
Well, you know, this is a world-class facility, and what is being done here basically is detection of diseases caused by very dangerous germs for some of them. And so we need to keep them under control, and we need to keep them safe, make sure that they don't go all over the place.
Is it possible to live in a germ-free environment?
I think it is for, you know, a short period of time. We have an environment that is very, very controlled in a suit.
The scientists who work with those germs wear suits that are germ-free on the inside. So, to answer Liam's question, they live in a germ-free environment when they're inside the suits. That's because they don't want the normal germs we carry to mix with the germs they are learning about. And the suits also protect the scientists because the dangerous germs can't get in.
Would you like to try one?
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, awesome, let's go.
Whoa, is that it?
Yeah, so that's the suit. I'm gonna help you put it on. So you can remove your lab coat and your shoes.
Almost in. These containment suits completely seal the scientists off, just like an astronaut spacesuit.
Okay. Oh yeah, I can feel air going through my arms and my feet.
Yeah.
They even have their own air supply to make sure the researcher doesn't breathe in any deadly germs.
This is so cool! I feel like an astronaut on a space station. We have landed on the moon. So, does this mean that I'm totally protected from dangerous viruses?
Completely.
Cool.
And here I am, living in a germ-free environment. But then,
I'm getting hungry though. Is there anything you have to eat, please?
Do you want to try a sandwich?
Yes, thank you. Yummy. Yum, yum, yum,
I want to see that.
What? There's no
I
one
don't
to eat
think
it
this is
from.
gonna work out.
What? That's yours. That's not nice.
Thank you.
So like Dr. Kobinger said, it's great to be living in a germ-free environment, but not for long, especially when you're hungry.
Thanks, Sydney. Even though you could live germ-free, you wouldn't want to. Fortunately, our bodies know the difference between germs and sandwiches, and they keep the germs out and the sandwiches in. This one's got my name on it.
Why do you have to get the shots?
When you get a shot, you're getting a vaccine. A vaccine is a virus, but it's a dead or very weak virus that won't make you sick. Doctors give you a vaccine so that
your body learns to recognize a virus.
Here's how it happens. Say the dead or weak virus they put in you with a needle is this green clay. Your body has stuff that smushes into it and wraps itself around the virus like a shield. And that shield protects your body from the virus. Now, if a real living virus ever got in, your body would recognize it and would know how to make the shield needed to protect you, before the virus could make you sick.
Okay, so I have to get a flu shot every year, so why doesn't one vaccine protect me? It turns out every time you get the flu, the virus has changed itself. So even though you've had the flu before, your body might not recognize it.
Germs may not look all that bright, but they can be pretty sneaky.
That reminds me of a question I got from Alaya.
Can germs think like us? Are they trying to find new ways to make us sick?
I don't really know the answer to that, so I'll throw the question over to Sydney at the microbiology lab.
So, do germs think, and do they think about new ways to get to us?
Well, you know, germs don't really think, but what they do is they evolve very, very quickly. By that, it means that they change all the time. So when they change, then they can change in a form that they can make us sick.
How do you figure out what the germs are doing?
What we do is that we look at them at different time points, and so we see how do they change. If we could take the example of influenza, so influenza changes all the time, and every year we look at the new influenza, and once we know which one it is, we can develop a vaccine that is a perfect fit for that virus. If you're, for example, you're vaccinated and you have this shield around you, then the germ is not going to be able to attack you and grow, because that's what germ wants to do. They want to grow and proliferate all the time.
Wow, that was some lab. Good thing those guys are on the job. And in case you're wondering, it's just as tough to get out as it was to get in.
Thanks, Sydney. Your enthusiasm is contagious, which means I can't wait to take another question.
Here's one from Destiny.
Can we see germs?
You mean without a microscope? Sure. Even if you don't have your own super zoomomatic, you can grow your own germs called fungus.
Like this gunk between my toes. If I put it into this special scientific gel, all the germy things will grow.
It takes a while to grow, so I made one last week. Smells like gym socks. Although lots of germs are invisible, you can see and smell some of them right in front of you.
How come food has best before dates and you get sick?
Congratulations! Your question is today's...
Uh-oh. Do try this at home.
Don't worry, I'm not gonna make you get sick.
I looked up the answer, and it turns out fungus and bacteria don't just grow in scientific gel. They'll also grow in food, if they have enough time. So food companies put a best before date on it.
It means eat it before this date, or afterwards you might be eating germs. Ah! 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 If you want to see how germs grow on food, next time you have a stale piece of bread, put it in a dark place, like a closet, for a week, and watch all this moldy stuff grow on it. It's almost as gross as that toe fungus. Oh, and by the way, if you leave a sandwich under your bed, just tell your mom it's a science experiment. It usually works, at least the first time.
How do we puke?
If you want to know how I puke, it's usually in the toilet, whenever possible.
But I think what you're asking is about what happens to make you throw up.
So I checked the answer, and as gross as puking is, it's a good thing. It's your body's way of telling you that thing you just ate doesn't belong here. Like this piece of moldy bread. So there you go. Germs, fevers, vaccines, throwing up. I think I've covered all your questions, except for one. Remember?
How come your nose gets runny?
The big answer is mucus. Okay, I looked up the answer, and it turns out our body produces icky, sticky mucus to keep germs out. How much mucus? About this much, every day. It's like a barrier against germs. I mean, would you want to go through that? And when some germs get in your body, where does that mucus go? It has to go somewhere, like out your nose. So blow your nose proudly, knowing that your body is making you healthier by fighting off those germs. See you next time for more Finding Stuff Out. Hi, welcome to Finding Stuff Out, the show where I answer all your questions. So let's take a look at the first question.
Why, when you scratch a chalkboard, it makes that kind of noise?
Why? So that when a teacher wants to get your attention, they can do this. I don't know why it makes that sound, but by the end of the show, I'll have the answer to your question and all things sound related. Speaking of sound, let's listen to this question from Jonah.
How come when you make the volume very loud, you vibrate?
Me? I kind of vibrate all the time, but let's see what happens when we crank up the sound. Getting louder and louder. My ears are starting to buzz. Starting to vibrate. Oh my gosh, don't turn down the volume. Okay, that's a little better. There we go. What happened there? Watch this.
Anything that's a sound is really vibrations. We think the air is nothing, right? But it's full of these teeny tiny molecules, so small you can't even see them. When the rubber duck squeaks, it pushes these molecules in the air right next to it. See? They get pushed, and they push the molecules next to them, and they push the molecules next to them, and so on, all the way to your ear, where your ear turns all those vibrating, pushing molecules into sound.
Here I am with DJ Kid Koala to talk about funky vibrations. So what do you need to become a DJ? Is it talent, musicianship, or is it some rock star sunglasses?
Well, Harrison, it all boils down to vibrations.
Oh yeah, it does vibrate. That means music is all about vibrating, right?
That's right. In fact, all sound is vibrations. When I pluck this string, you can see it going back and forth at a certain speed. That's what we call the frequency, and that dictates what note you hear. That one's vibrating quite slowly, so it's a low note. This string vibrates at a higher frequency, so it'll be a higher note.
Yeah, I can see it moving really fast.
Exactly. So all music is just different notes vibrating at different frequencies.
Cool.
Your voice actually vibrates too. In fact, we can see that with our eyes. Let's go record it.
Okay.
All right, Harrison, we're rolling.
Okay.
Take it away.
Yeah! Cool! Playing with sound is fun.
That was perfect. I think we got it.
Awesome. So you actually recorded that on a vinyl record?
Yes, we did.
Wow. My grandparents gave me a vinyl record player.
Yeah, well, it's kind of an antiquated technology, but that doesn't mean it doesn't work. And for us scratch DJs, nothing beats the sound of a freshly cut vinyl record.
Smells good.
Harrison, for the first time in history, your voice is recorded onto vinyl.
Just like the Beatles.
Exactly. You better sign this.
Now let's look into this Super Zoom-o-matic. Whoa, there are grooves. Groovy.
When you play a record, the grooves in the record bounce the needle around here, causing it to vibrate. And those vibrations are amplified through all this equipment and come out of the speakers as sound.
Cool. So can we hear it?
Yeah, let's check it out.
Yeah. Cool. Playing with sound is fun.
So, now that's cut onto the record, we can actually change the speed. So I can make you sound like a chipmunk by speeding up the record, causing the needle to vibrate even faster.
Let's hear that.
Or I can slow you way down, like this.
Playing with sound is fun. Yeah!
Let's jam.
Yeah!
Why are they called the eardrums?
Well, inside each of our ears, there's a thin membrane, not unlike this skin here on this drum.
Is the eardrum why we hear sounds in our ear?
Partly, sound enters our ear and vibrates this membrane. Then, the sound is transmitted through these 3 tiny bones and into the cochlea, which is a little snail-like structure in your ear that's full of fluid and tiny, tiny little hairs. So those 3 tiny bones transmit the vibrations through the fluid, and those hairs pick up the vibrations and send little messages to your brain, which then tells your brain that you're hearing a sound.
Ah, I feel a song coming on.
I agree. Let's hear it.
Here we go. They're surrounded by a fluid, by a liquid like water, so vibrations cause ripples like a vibration otter. And those liquid vibrations get sent right over here to some tiny microscopic hairs in your ear. Hairs in your ear? Dude, you must be insane. But those hairs in your ear send signals right to your brain. Your brain understands those signals as sounds, and that's how the process of hearing goes down. Wow, I hear through ear hair? That's both cool and weird.
You know, these hairs in your ears, they're not quite like the hair on your head. They're really, really small. And they're very sensitive hairs that send signals to your brain which allow you to hear.
Cool. Now here's another similar question about vocal cords.
How do vocal cords make sounds?
To answer your question, please welcome my special guest, opera singer, Lindsay Michael.
Hello, Harrison. It's very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Lindsay. So how do we make sounds with our vocal cords?
Basically, the air goes through your vocal cords and then they vibrate. But if you're talking or you're singing, it's the same thing. That's what causes the sound.
Let's check it out with my Super Zoom-O-Matic.
Okay.
Do you want to do a duet with the Finding Stuff Out song?
Okay, let's do it.
Okay,
if you put your hand on your throat, you can feel it happen.
Okay, so after 4.
Okay.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Finding stuff out, finding stuff out, finding stuff out. That's what it's all about.
Do you feel it?
Yeah, it's vibrating.
Yeah.
It's cool.
That's where the sound comes from.
You have some pretty special vocal cords. How do you make such amazing sounds and stuff?
It's a lot of practice, Harrison. I've been working at it for years and years and years. And everyone has a special sound. You know how everyone's voice sounds different?
Yeah.
You can always recognize a friend's voice in a crowd?
Yeah.
That's because our bodies are different and your body is your instrument. So depending on the shape and size of your vocal cords, you're going to have different sounds. Also, the sound resonates in your head too, like in your nasal cavities. So that's why everyone's voice sounds different. And so if you train it, you can make it a really beautiful singing voice, but it's always going to sound like your voice.
So how do you train your vocal cords?
Well, you train your vocal cords by working on your breath. So you control how much air goes through your vocal cords so you can make the sound very high or very low so it sounds consistent all the time.
So can you sing an example of like really low to really high?
Sure. So you sing a medium note, then you're using less air. So the higher and louder you are, the more air you're going to use. So if I sing a higher note, I'm using a lot more air. And my vocal cords are pulled a lot tighter.
Is it possible to break your vocal cords?
If you use your vocal cords too much, you know how you get calluses on your hands when you play guitars?
Yeah.
If you are really not careful with your voice, you can get calluses on your vocal cords.
Wow.
Called nodes.
That's not good.
That's not good. But I mean, you have to be really abusing it or shouting a lot or singing way too much too often without taking care of yourself for that to happen.
I heard that opera singers can break glass just from like a certain note or pitch or something.
That's true. You can break glass with sound. And it's pretty amazing. I've been trying, and I'm coming very close to making the glass break, but right now I can just make it vibrate.
Whoa, it was moving all over. Oh, and it was ringing out.
Yeah, you can hear it ring after.
Yeah.
So it's still vibrating from the sound.
So do you think you can break it?
Yeah, that's really easy, Harrison.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah. Hey, you're pretty funny. Okay, now here's another question. It's from Emma.
If you listen to your iPod too loud, are you gonna break your eardrum?
Is it true, Lindsay, if you listen to music too loud that you'll break your eardrums?
Well, you probably won't break your eardrums, but you could definitely damage your hearing. You see, there's these little hairs inside your ear that vibrate to hear the sound, and if you listen to music too loud, you could permanently damage those hairs.
It's those ear hairs again. Well, we know that sound can travel loud, but...
How do sound waves travel so fast?
They're fast, but not as fast as you might think. Check this out. Lightning causes air molecules to vibrate. That's thunder. Now we're so close to this storm, we hear the thunder as soon as we see the lightning. Like this. Whoa! Whoa! That's too close for comfort. Let's move back a bit. That's more like it. Even though the lightning is much further away, we see it almost immediately when it strikes. But the thunder, which is made at the exact same time, takes longer to get here. That's because compared to light, sound is a slowpoke. Light travels almost 1,000,000 times faster than sound.
Why are concerts so loud?
So that people in the back can hear, man. So if you're sitting in the front, you should probably bring some earplugs so that it blocks out some of the vibration. I think I heard another question.
When whales go... Are they really communicating, or are they just going... for no reason?
Well, Wolfie, I went to my favorite neighborhood aquarium.
Hey, Harrison.
Hi.
To find out the answer from my favorite aquarium person, Nicole Can. And she says that whales not only communicate with each other using sound, but some of them, like belugas, use the same trick as submarines. They actually use sound to figure out where to go. It's incredible. It's like they can see using sound. It's called echolocation.
Basically, they make these really high-pitched click sounds, and they send them from their blowholes on the top of their heads to their melons, also called their foreheads. And as they send the sound out of their melon, it goes into the water, it hits something, and bounces back to them. And by listening to the echoes of their sounds, they can form mental pictures of their underwater world. So it's almost like they can see in the dark using just their sounds.
Wow, that's really cool.
Uh-oh. Do try this at home.
Not all humans can hear the same frequencies. So what sounds can you hear? Do you have bat-like hearing? Let's find out. See the number 0 at the bottom of the screen?
It's moving up because I'm broadcasting a tone. As soon as you can hear that tone, make a note of the number. If there are any adults in the room, ask them to try this with you. Here we go again. Remember that number. Okay, you have your number? What does it mean? Well, remember those little ear hairs we all have? As we get older, we lose the teeny tiniest of those teeny tiny hairs. Those are the ones that make the smallest vibrations and send our brain the signals for the highest frequencies. So young people who have these teeny tiniest hairs can hear higher frequencies than older people. If you heard the tone here, you hear like most 10-year-olds. If you heard it here, you hear like most 30-year-olds. And if you heard it here, your hearing is like most 70-year-olds. So no matter how mature you try to act, hey, you heard that sound? You're a kid.
No, I'm not. I'm an old man.
Street smarts.
So every day we're surrounded by sounds, ones that we like and ones that we dislike. So right now I want to know what your favorite sound is.
The sound of water?
A horn. A siren. Ripping the grass out and then blowing grass in a fan. It's weird, I know, but it's fun to hear.
That is a little weird, but I understand.
My favorite sound is the ocean wave.
Rain is falling down. It makes me really sleepy.
The wind.
The puck hitting a hockey post.
I know it's weird, but my favorite sound is popcorn kernels popping.
Popcorn is pretty tasty. I love popcorn.
Yes, it is, and it is awesome.
So there you have it. Some sounds we like, and some sounds we don't like. Can you hear me? There's so much noise right now.
How come when you scratch a fork to your plate, it makes some people have the shivers?
Yeah, how come when you scratch a fork on your plate, sometimes it makes you shiver?
Ugh, don't you hate that sound? That means there's no pie left on your plate. But that's not why it gives you shivers. The short answer is adrenaline.
When an animal hears something scary, their body releases a chemical called adrenaline. Adrenaline makes them super ready for running away or fighting. Also, their hair stands up, which makes them look bigger and scarier too. Some scientists think that the squeak of chalk or the sound of a fork on a plate makes a sound similar to the shriek of apes when they're in danger. So when our prehistoric ancestors heard that kind of noise, their hair would stand up to make them look bigger and scarier, ready to fight or take flight.
Our great challengers today are Isabella.
Hello.
And Clara. Okay, so your challenge today is to combine different items to make horrible noises. You each have 10 tries. Every time you make Lindsay shiver, you get 1 point. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Oh, no, I don't think so. Oh, that made me shiver.
That's 1 point.
You got a shiver too? Oh, that was a good shiver. Oh yeah, that's a shiver. Oh. No, I don't think so. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good shiver. I think that's pretty close. Half point for that one. Oh, no, don't think that one.
No.
Made me shiver. That's pretty loud. That made me shiver just because it was loud. That's good. Oh, yeah, that's pretty terrible. Oh, I don't like that sound. That didn't give me a shiver. That was pretty shivery. Yeah, I think that's a half shiver. Yeah, I don't like that. I think that counts as a shiver.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I still got a shiver though.
So Clara has 3.5 and Isabella has 5.5. And this is your last try. So it looks like Isabella is gonna be our winner. But let's see if you can make a big splash.
Yep, that definitely made me shiver.
So I guess the final score is 5.5 and 4.5. Congratulations, Isabella. You're the winner.
And this challenge brings us back to the original question that started this sound search.
Why, when you scratch a chalkboard, it makes that kind of noise?
So your big answer is, Elijah, vibrations. My nails and this chalkboard vibrate when scraped together. That makes the molecules in the air vibrate in the same way. Enough with the horrible sounds. Now let's listen to something that sounds really cool. Like this, the Finding Stuff Out theme song.
My name is Harrison and this is my show. I'm finding stuff out that you want to know. Just ask me a question that I don't know. That's why Finding Stuff Out is the name of the show. So just give me a shout and we'll figure it out with the help of some friends, and the fun never ends on Finding Stuff Out, Finding Stuff Out, Finding Stuff Out. That's what it's all about. Yeah.
I'm really excited to do my show today, and not just because Mr. Whiskers decided to join me. He's super excited too. I'm excited because today we're answering your questions about communication, and not just this kind. Or that kind, but all kinds. So let's take a look at question number 1. It's from Leela.
Can a horse and a pig communicate?
What do you think, Mr. Whiskers? He'll get back to you on that. In the meantime, I think I have the answer to your question. I went over to my friend's farm last week and filmed the horses and the pigs.
Okay, there are the horses and there are the pigs. And it doesn't look like there's any communicating going on between them. Wait a minute. The horse just looked over at the pigs. I'm not sure.
But I'm not giving up yet. Sometimes if you can't find the answer to a question, it's better to ask more questions.
So, Leela,
by the end of the show, I'll have the answer to your question.
Speaking of questions, here's another one.
Why do dogs go woof woof?
Now, I don't have a dog, mostly because Mr. Whiskers here is afraid of them. But I do have an answer to your question, Hanifa, and it's pretty cool. So this is my cousin's dog, Clyde. Mr. Whiskers doesn't like him at all.
I found out that when dogs bark, they're not just making noise, they're actually communicating. That means this dog is saying something right now. Do you know what it is? Maybe Ralph? Or Rolf? Roast, maybe. Is it possible that he's asking for a roast?
Oh, sorry, Mr. Whiskers. Here, you can leave. Here's the cool thing. Some scientists in Hungary have figured out that when dogs bark, they're telling us how they feel. And there are different barks for different feelings, like this is the play bark.
That's the bark a dog makes when he's playing fun doggy games, like tug of war or wrestling. Okay, now this is the stranger bark. That's the bark a dog makes when there's a stranger at the door. And here's another kind of dog doing the stranger bark.
There are so many different breeds of dogs, but they all have the same way of communicating with us.
Now, if you knew what the play bark and the stranger bark meant before I told you, you're not alone. People and dogs have a special relationship, and scientists have discovered that people can tell the difference between dog barks, even people without dogs.
How? Adaptation.
Dogs have been our companions for thousands of years, and scientists think their different barks changed over time to sound a lot alike, at least in tone, so that they can communicate with us. These dogs might look different, but they seem to be saying the same thing.
So if dogs bark to communicate with us, let's find out how well you understand them.
Uh-oh. Do try this at home.
Okay, I'm going to play 3 different types of barks for you. The first one is the food bark. That's what a dog barks like when he's hungry. Next is the alone bark. The alone bark is when a dog is tied to a tree and away from his owner. Last is the fight bark, which is when a dog is angry and or vicious. Now we have the 3 barks up here, and you have to guess which one I'm playing. And I'm not going to play them in order. Or am I? Okay, first one. Do you think that dog is hungry, feeling alone, or ready to fight? Ready for the answer? I have a drum roll. Hang on. It'll be easier if I just do it myself. And the answer is alone. Congratulations if you got it right. If not, you still have 2 more chances. Okay, so I'm gonna play the last 2 barks one after another. Which one's food? Which one's fight? And the answer is food, then fight. If you got all 3 right, then congratulations. You're like an official dog whisperer. But if you didn't, don't worry about it. I'm sure dogs don't understand what you're saying either. How could they? I mean, we have so many words, and they only have 1. Woof. But I guess it's not just what you say, but how you say it. For example, if I say drum solo, I'm asking a question. But if I say drum solo, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. Same words, but when I change the tone, it changes the meaning. It's a part of how we communicate too, and how dogs communicate, even though they don't use words. Hey, and that's the doorbell communicating with me. It's telling me my guest is here, but this time he's 5 inches tall and he's gonna answer a question about communication. This one's from Taya. Coming!
Why do parrots copy us when we talk?
So I'm here with Eliza and Aaron and their macaw, Coco. So why do parrots copy us when we talk? Why do parrots copy us when we talk?
They are able to mimic sound. Birds in the wild will mimic other songs, and parrots, when they live with us, try and mimic the sounds in their environment. So some birds will mimic sounds that they hear, like the telephone or trucks backing up in the alleyway. Many parrots will try and mimic human speech because they live with human beings.
I've heard of parrots that imitate ringtones on phones and doorbells and stuff. Does Coco do that at all, or?
He doesn't do that. His species doesn't particularly copy those types of sounds, but there are other species of parrots, for example, African greys or other birds that like those very high-pitched sounds.
Parrots live in groups, and they use sound to communicate with each other. But if there are no other parrots around for a parrot to talk to, then it will imitate whatever is nearby, like people.
So can Coco say any words at all, or?
Coco has a vocabulary. He speaks in English and in French. Aaron, do you want to try and get him to say something?
Allô, Coco. Allô. Allô, Coco. So, does Coco really know what he's saying?
Well, Coco will answer you if you ask him a specific question in a specific circumstance. So, for example, if I'm in one room of the house and I call Aaron in another room of the house, he'll tell me to stop yelling because he doesn't like it when you raise your voice. If he wants to go to bed, he'll say, I want to go in my cage. And sometimes he'll say things like, if you ask him if he wants to eat something in particular that he really does want to eat, he'll say, yes, I do. And so they will respond and mimic and answer sometimes what you ask them with a set answer that they already know will give a desired result. But you never know exactly what he's going to say, and he'll say things only when he wants to.
So what's an example of a circumstance where Coco will talk?
Well, Coco likes going into drawers, and sometimes if he's in the right mood and he feels like going into one, he'll yell out, it's a drawer, several times.
In a really loud voice.
In a very loud voice.
It's a drawer.
He's like, yeah, that's me. I say it's a drawer. Okay, well, I have a drawer right over here, so we can try it out then, right?
Okay, let's try it. Oh, look. Want to go in the drawer?
It's a drawer.
Come on, Coco.
I think I heard him. He said it's a drawer. Thank you for being on my show, and thank you, Coco. I couldn't have said it better myself. Now here's a question from Omarion.
Why do some people speak in other languages?
Well, Omarion, I have no idea, so why don't we start out by finding out how many languages are there? Let's see, there's English, French, Spanish, German, Danish, Greek, Chinese, Lebanese, Croatian, Japanese, Egyptian, Italian, Ojibwe, Polish, Portuguese, Russian, Korean, Romanian, Yiddish, Dutch. Ah!
Yay! You're gonna make my head explode!
It looks like there are around 6,900 languages being used on Earth right now. 6,900? That's more languages than there are countries in the world. Where did all these languages come from?
A long time ago, very far away, prehistoric people might have talked the same. They went their separate ways, and the words they spoke started to change. So mata, mater, madre, mir, all mean mother, that lady who cares. Pater, pater, peer, padre, all mean father, no matter what you say. People walk their walk, and they talk their talk. That's why there's so many languages spoken in this world today.
Check out this language question
from Ashton.
What was the first language on Earth?
So it turns out finding the answer was pretty easy. Scientists think the first language on Earth was some sort of basic sign language. This is how I imagine it.
Apparently, back then, people could only kind of grunt. Which isn't really a great way to communicate. So they probably pointed and made up signs for things they couldn't talk about.
Now it's time for...
My Great Challenge!
Hello, contestants. Are you ready for My Great Challenge?
Yeah!
Okay, you guys are gonna be team number 1 and you're team number 2. Today, the challenge is to communicate like early humans without any talking, which is very similar to charades. So team number 2, please leave the room. Team number 1, get ready to play. So Michael, here's the sentence that you will have to act out.
The sentence I gave Michael says, your socks are on fire.
Got it? So Fabiana, you have 2 minutes to guess what he is acting out. Go.
Your feet are on fire?
You're very close. Guess, guess.
Your feet are burning?
Keep guessing, come on.
Your socks are on fire.
That's right, you got it. Yeah. Congratulations. You almost got it right away. You were really close. How did you know that it was fire?
Because when he lifted up his pants, like up until here, I saw him waving his socks, so I just knew it like that.
Why do you think it would be hard if there was no language back then, if you had to act everything out like you just did?
Well, because it would take a long time to guess what I was doing.
Do you think you'd get good at it eventually?
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you think you did?
Good.
Good?
Great.
Great. Okay, Talia, here's the line that you'll be acting out.
Team number 2 has the same sentence. The sentence is, your socks are on fire.
Got it? Okay, and you'll be guessing what she's acting out. Are you ready? Okay, go.
Your, I don't know what she's doing though. Okay, you're putting on a sock. You're...
Keep acting it out.
Taking off your sock. You're washing your sock.
Getting closer.
You're drying your sock. It's hot.
Getting very close.
It's on fire.
Yeah, so
Her sock's on fire.
You got it. Awesome. So, Talia, what did you think was the hardest thing about acting it out?
The fire part.
Why did you think the fire part was the hardest?
There's not a lot of fire, like, stuff.
So, and what was the easiest part?
The sock.
The sock? Why was the sock so easy to act out?
You just put a sock on your foot.
Or pretend to, yeah?
Yeah.
So, Jessica, what was the hardest part of trying to guess what Talia was acting out?
Like she said, the fire part, because there wasn't like much movements that she did for the fire, so it was kind of hard to guess.
How did you finally know that it was fire that she was acting out?
Because she like kind of like blew in her hands like it was hot, or like after she put her sock on, she like kind of like said it was like on fire, and she like kind of backed up and like, yeah.
Okay, the winner is team number 1.
Yeah!
You guys did it twice as fast as team number 2. Okay. Ancient communication is way too difficult. What I was trying to say is, thanks for playing my great challenge. Congratulations. That was awesome. Speaking of speaking with your hands,
there are jobs where people use special signals to communicate. Here's how a sailor sends a message from his ship to another ship. How a baseball catcher sends a secret message to the pitcher. And people who are hearing impaired have figured out how to talk to each other with their hands. It's called sign language.
Let's take another question.
This one's from Juliana.
Can you do sign language with animals?
I thought the answer to Juliana's
question would be no, but you wouldn't believe what I found out.
And if you have a pet monkey, tell him to come watch this too. Since the 70s, scientists have been teaching chimpanzees some human-style sign language, and it turns out they can learn a lot of words.
And over at the aquarium, they have trainers that know how to communicate with dolphins and whales. Let's check it out. So here I am with Nicole Can.
Hey, Harrison.
Hi. So can you tell me the different ways that fish and underwater mammals communicate?
Well, these belugas eat a lot of a fish called herring. And herring is a fish that has a very interesting way of communicating. They make distinct pulse-like sounds in their guts that are way too low for us to hear.
By their guts, you mean?
Yeah, I mean farting.
Gross. Well, I just communicated myself.
Oh, gross, Harrison.
But how do these guys communicate?
Well, beluga whales are capable of making a lot of different sounds. In fact, early Arctic explorers used to call them the canaries of the sea due to all of the different types of sounds they can make. And we know they use those sounds to communicate with each other, but we're not entirely sure how yet.
Nobody knows exactly what whales are saying to each other with their calls, but we do know some amazing things about them. It's believed that some whales can send their sounds to other whales halfway around the world. And humpback whales, like these ones, sing slightly different songs depending on where in the world they live. It's like each group has its own language.
So how do you communicate with dolphins?
You use sign language.
What do you mean by sign language?
It's a form of communication that we've come up with the dolphins. Everything we do with our hands means something different to them.
Okay, so can you show me a couple?
Sure. If you wanted to ask the dolphins to make noise or to vocalize, wiggle your fingers like you're conducting a choir. Perfect. And then if you wanted to ask them to swim really fast, what we call a speed swim, take your hand and go, go!
Go! Like that?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
So I can make a dolphin swim fast now?
You could ask them to swim really fast.
Okay. And what about like something awesome, like a backflip?
A backflip? It's actually a really small hand signal. Just your 2 fingers up and down.
Just by saying that, it's telling them to do a backflip.
Yep.
That's crazy. What else? Can they like wave or anything?
Well, if you wave your hands at them, they'll wave back.
They're so smart.
They are very smart.
So how do you say goodbye?
Like this.
Okay. Goodbye. Bye. I gotta teach some of these to my goldfish. Bad news. Mr. Whiskers ate my goldfish. Just kidding. But here's another question. This one's from Laura.
Can animals talk to each other?
So here's how I'm gonna answer your question. I'm gonna show Mr. Whiskers here different animals saying stuff, and we'll see if he talks back. Hey, Mr. Whiskers! Anyway, I think it would be easier just to search and see animals communicating with each other. Animals communicating with each other. Aha! We have a hit!
In Yellowstone National Park, scientists found another example of how different animals can communicate with each other. Ravens have learned a very clever trick. When they spot elk, they fly off to alert the wolves. Then, they lead the hungry wolves toward the elk. When the wolves have moved in for the kill and had their fill, the ravens swoop in and snack on the leftovers. That also answers the first question we started off with. Here it is again.
Can a horse and a pig communicate?
And the big answer is... maybe!
I found out that horses can interpret the body language of other creatures, and pigs are supposed to be way more clever than dogs. So if they really needed to, a horse and a pig might develop some kind of communication, like the ravens and wolves at Yellowstone. But so far, they don't seem to have much use for each other.
I'm glad we got to the bottom of that one. Modern science can rest a little easier tonight. Thanks for sending in all your questions and for watching Finding Stuff Out. Mr. Whiskers, cue! Hi, welcome to Finding Stuff Out. You know what I love about doing the show? Whenever I'm about to get blamed for something, like that moldy bread under the couch, I always say it's research. Like when I made a paper airplane in class, I told the teacher that you guys sent me a bunch of questions about flying. Here's the first one. It's from Angelina.
Why can't humans fly?
I know! It's so unfair, isn't it, Angelina? Whatever the reason is that I can't fly, it's not good enough! But maybe if we start with something that can fly and figure out how they can do it, maybe we can fix it so that we can. Let's start at the beginning.
We have to go back, way back, about 360 million years. The first living creature to fly was an insect.
Geronimo!
And flying was such a big advantage if you're trying to catch something to eat or avoid being eaten, that more bugs evolved to fly. Today, more than 1 million species of bugs have wings.
That's a lot of flying bugs, almost as many as I have questions.
Here's one from Mika.
How do fat bees fly with their little legs and their big fat selves?
That's exactly what I want to find out about. Bees do not look like they should be able to fly. So if they can do it, why can't humans?
Check this out. These bees are beating their wings so incredibly fast, you can hardly see them. Now watch. I put it into super slow-mo. See? They don't just flap them like birds do. They rotate them. Bees fly a lot like helicopters. That's the way I want to fly. They both can hover, change direction quickly, and watch this, fly backwards.
Clearly, insects are nature's expert flyers, so if we're ever going to do it, we should probably find out how they do it.
Excuse me.
Whoa, okay, maybe not. No more bugs. Next question.
How do birds fly?
The short answer is wings. To find out how wings work, I have a 4-time Canadian model airplane champion. Please welcome my special guest. It's a bird. It's a plane. Oh, and And it's Isabelle DeLaurier.
Hi, Harrison.
I'm glad that's not a bug. So I want to know how birds use their wings to fly. Can you help me?
Sure. What you have to know is that whether you're a bird or an airplane, either way, what you need to fly is a set of wings. They all look a little bit different, but they have the same basic shape, and it's called an airfoil. Do you know what an airfoil is?
No, what's an airfoil?
So an airfoil, it's like a giant sail on a sailboat.
Okay.
So the only difference is that on a sailboat, the wind pushes the sail and the boat moves forward, but on the airplane, the two sails are lying down, so the wind goes over the wing and under the wing. And because it's shaped like a sail, it's an airfoil, that wind makes it go up. It's kind of the same thing for birds, but there's one difference. What do birds do with their wings that airplanes don't do? They flap it, exactly. So they go faster and faster until they're going fast enough that they can just spread their wings like that and soar and glide.
I put this little beauty together myself. It's a wind tunnel. It actually shows how wings work.
Yeah, so what's really cool about the wind tunnel is that usually you can't see wind, but with the wind tunnel, there's a smoke machine, and you can see the smoke, so it shows you how the wind is going.
Okay.
So what people do when they want to test airplanes, they put it in there. So can you see how the smoke is hitting under the wing?
Yeah, it goes like below, like it hits down and goes below, and then a little bit comes up and goes over.
Exactly. So if we were going to let go of the airplane, that wind that we see with the smoke would push the wing up, and that's what would make the airplane fly. So people can design wings like that and figure out what's the best wing for an airplane.
Okay.
But maybe we can test some other stuff too.
Yes, I think we have this flying chipmunk or squirrel, yeah?
So the flying squirrel has like big flaps of skins like that, just like a wing. So it's a nice curved shape, like an airfoil.
Yeah.
And when it jumps out, it does like a parachute.
Oh, so it doesn't actually have wings that can flap, just stretchy skin.
That's right.
And we also have Falcon Boy, yeah! Because Falcon Boy can fly, and it's a falcon and a boy.
I don't know about you, but I think Falcon Boy should get a ride on the airplane.
Let's
you want
do
to
that.
put him on?
Okay, wait.
Let's see if that works.
He gets lazy sometimes, so he just takes an airplane.
So although wings might look a little bit different, whether you're an airplane, a bee, or a bird, or a flying squirrel, or even Falcon Boy, they all work pretty much in the same way.
So I think we're getting somewhere. If I have the right type of wings, maybe I can fly. That sounds like a challenge.
Great challenge!
Today's great challenge is all about making the best homemade paper airplanes. We're here at my school's loading dock since we need a lot of space to fly them. Our two challengers today are Kenny and Aaliyah. They're going to be demonstrating airfoil with nothing but paper and air. The contestants are going to be making specialized planes to fly the straightest, the farthest, and to perform the best aerobatic tricks.
Plane number 1, the straight shooter.
What makes this plane fly the straightest?
Well, it's kind of pointy, so it's a very pointy and narrow wing like this, so it's like an arrow or a dart. So it's going to go very straight.
Plane number 2, the cruiser.
What's the difference with the one we just made?
Well, this one has square wings and they're really big, so it's going to help it go really far and fly for a really long time. It can just soar a lot longer and a lot better. So what's really special about this airplane is that it actually won the world's record for the longest flight.
Cool. Wow. I'm gonna beat that record.
I believe in you, Kenny. You go for it.
Plane number 3, the stunt plane.
What tricks do they do?
So they can do loops and stall turns and all kinds of stuff. And if you're really, really good with it, you can even make it come back to you like a boomerang.
So I guess we're all done. Now it's for the moment of truth. Yeah! Okay, the first round is all about accuracy. Kenny, you're up first.
So you guys are going for the cone. The closest one wins. Pretty good.
Aaliyah, now it's your turn. So I guess that round goes to Kenny. Now for the second round, which is about distance. Good job, Aaliyah. You are the winner of the second round. So you both have won one round. So the winner will be determined by the third round, which is about aerobatics. Kenny, you're up first. So I guess Aaliyah was the winner. She was the first one to do a loop-de-loop. So Aaliyah is our winner. Congratulations. Yes! Now it's time for another question. This one's from Eric John.
What I want to know is how big is the biggest bird alive?
Now we're talking, Eric John. If humans are going to fly, we should probably check out some of the biggest flyers. To answer your question, I'm gonna get some street smarts! I found out the bigger the bird is, the bigger wings it needs to fly.
The bird with the biggest wingspan and the world's champion long-distance flyer is the wandering albatross. These giant seabirds can ride ocean winds for hours without resting or even flapping their long wings.
So, how wide is the wingspan of an albatross?
This wide!
These kids think it's a really heavy bird.
If I were a bird, I would like to be an albatross because I have a big appetite.
So I want to know how much you think an albatross weighs.
1,000 pounds, 55 pounds, 805 pounds, 300 pounds, 115 pounds, 500 pounds, 99 pounds, 20.
And the winner's you!
Yes!
An albatross weighs just over 20 pounds, which is about the weight of a 1-year-old baby.
Wow. I find it unbelievable. I thought it was 500 pounds. It's really light. I thought it would be more than 20 pounds.
Whoa! So how much do you think I weigh?
80. 9,000. 90. 102.
102? Actually, I weigh 70 pounds. I guarantee it. Yeah, you can put me down now if you want.
It's not heavy.
So I weigh about 70 pounds, which would be 3.5 albatrosses.
My wings would have to be this wide for me to be able to fly. That would be hard. I'd need a lot of wide open space to land, and it would be really, really difficult to go inside anywhere.
Maybe the albatross isn't the best model for humans wanting to fly. So here I am with Tanya Drapeau from Falcon Environmental Services, who I thought was gonna bring a lightweight bird, but this guy looks heavy.
That's what you think. Why don't you try it out?
Okay. And then I hold this?
Yeah, you hold on to that, and as I drop my arm, the bird goes up the stairs.
Okay.
Just like that, onto your
there we
fist.
go.
So what do you think?
It's pretty light. He was lighter than I actually thought he was gonna be.
Yeah, he kind of looks like he weighs more than a house cat, but he weighs about 5 pounds. That's the same as a big tub of peanut butter.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's pretty much his weight. Do you want me to take him back? All right. So all you need to do is
just
open your hands. There we are. And there we go. Right back to me. Now, birds have lots of adaptations for flight, so that's why sometimes they look heavier than they actually are. Half of his body is really just feathers. And then their skeleton actually is made up of many hollow bones, so that means that there's kind of nothing in them. They're very strong, but it allows them to be lighter for flight. Humans will have a very strong jaw bone as well as teeth, whereas birds just have a very lightweight beak or bill.
Just the eyes seem to weigh a lot because they're so big.
Well, his eyes actually take up 2/3 of his skull, and that means that one eyeball is actually larger than his brain. I'll leave it at that. If we compared it to a human, it would mean that we have eyes as large as grapefruit.
Grapefruits? Now here's another question.
What's the fastest bird alive?
Yeah, what is the fastest bird alive? Can you tell us, Tanya?
Yes, I can, and he is really fast.
Well, I'm really fast too. Hi.
Hi. Harrison, I'd like you to meet Julie, and this is Orion. He is a peregrine falcon. Orion can go up to 300 kilometers per hour in a dive when he's going after prey.
300 kilometers? That's faster than this, this, and this. So why does he have this hat?
Well, it's actually called a hood. And the thing about birds of prey is they're ultra fast, but they also see very, very well, up to 8 times better than people. So for him, having his eyes hidden right now means that he can stay calm, and it's also part of his training. So when the hood comes off, he's ready to go.
Orion, ready to fly?
So you stay here with me. Orion is actually so fast that he needs a large area to fly. So that means he needs all the room to stretch his wings and gain all his speed. And when he comes stooping and diving down, he's at high speed. So we want to make sure he has all the room. So Julie just took off the hood. So the first thing that he does is scope out where he wants to take off towards. And he loves to take off against the wind. So he's kind of looking at the wind, he's looking at his surroundings and getting engaged. And with a ruffle of his feathers, that means that he's ready to go. And he should be ready for takeoff. A little scratch to the head. Yep, definitely ready for takeoff.
The falcon flies at incredible speeds when it hunts. It rises high into the air, far above the other birds, and then dives at its prey. I like how those falcons fly, soaring on a breeze, not flapping at crazy speeds like those insects. Hey, I'm sort of like a falcon. I'm strong and light. I can soar if all I have to do is hold my wings out straight. All I need are some wings. The Flat Earth Corner! Hi, welcome to the 11th century. I'm Elmer, a monk at Malmesbury Abbey, and you're about to witness history. As you can see, I've made myself a set of wings, just like a bird. I'm gonna be the first human in the history of the world to fly by taking a running leap off the Abbey roof. Pretty smart, huh? Okay, here we go. One small step for monk, one giant leap for monk kind. Geronimo! I'm flying! I'm flying! I'm flying! Elmer didn't become the world's first flying monk. He ended up going the distance of about a football field, but he crashed and was crippled for life. He just didn't know the science of flying. It took a few more centuries before people figured out how to build gliders that could actually keep a person in the air. We had to learn a little bit more about wings. Well, I can still dream about flying anyway. Finding out how bees and birds fly just proves that I can't. But there are other animals that can. Now here's a question Hanlon asked me to find the answer to.
How come pterosaurs can fly and little dinosaurs can't?
To answer your question, it's that pterosaurs weren't actually dinosaurs. They were flying reptiles. Now, you probably know that flying reptiles died millions of years ago, right? Well, surprise! Here's Chrysopolia, better known as the flying snake. It's very much alive. It doesn't exactly fly, but it can glide. It does a kind of parachute jump by sucking in its belly to form a wing. By twisting from side to side, it can even control the direction it goes in. It can glide the length of a football field in one jump. Flying snakes. I hope I never come across one of those. Here's another question from Tamara.
Does the flying fish really fly?
Almost. Flying fish can fly by swimming really fast and then leaping into the air and spreading their fins like wings. That lets them get away from other fish that want to eat them. They can glide almost the length of a hockey rink. Some scientists believe that flying fish are evolving into true flyers. Okay, to find out why humans can't fly, we've looked at insects, birds, even snakes, and fish. And the only mammal we've seen is the flying squirrel, which is really the gliding squirrel. But aren't there any mammals that can truly fly? Yes, there is one. It's a bat, a baseball bat. No, I'm just kidding. It's not a baseball bat. It's a real bat. Like the flying squirrel, bats have stretched skin and an airfoil design that lets them glide. But what's different about bats is that their skin is part of a true wing. Bats flap their wings, making them true flyers. A flying mammal, yeah! Maybe there's hope for humans yet. But just a cool-looking pair of bat wings is not enough. Although a bat may look big with its wings spread, they're actually quite light. The little brown bat is about the weight of this pen. And they still take a lot of energy to fly.
In the summer, the brown bat can eat its entire body weight in insects each night.
Excuse me. Yeah, aren't you glad you don't have to eat your own weight in bugs every night? Okay, so we found out a lot about what it takes to fly. We found out that snakes can parachute from trees, and fish can evolve wings, and even mammals can fly. So what about the amazing question that started this episode?
Why can't humans fly?
The big answer is... I found out that we just didn't evolve the things that we need to fly.
Let's see. First of all, you've got to have wings. Really big wings. To flap the wings, you've got to have powerful muscles on your thorax. But even then, you have to be really light. Okay, I'm starting to look like a bug now.
Never mind all that stuff. I'm going to try to fly, and you can try it with me.
Uh-oh. Do try this at home.
Okay, so after finding all that stuff out about wings, there's only one thing left to do, and that's to fly. Come on, keep that circular motion like a bee. Flap faster, faster! Okay, you can stop now. Ouch. Did you know bees and flies flap 200 times per second? And other insects flap up to 1,000 times per second. You'd have to flap at least this fast to get off the ground.
Birds do it, bees do it, even squirrels and fish do it, flying through the air, so why can't I? Bats do it, snakes do it, even some squids do it, flying through the air, so why can't I? No hollow bones or feathery wings, no stretchy skin, but I have these. Didn't evolve with these adaptations. We can't fly without contraptions. Without them, more herky-jerky, might as well be a frozen turkey.
We'd have to evolve so much to be able to fly. Maybe it's better that we evolved big brains instead. After all, our big brains helped us figure out how to fly in airplanes, helicopters, and rockets. Although, you might wonder if our brains really are that much bigger after you see this next clip.
These grown-ups have learned to glide by using special flight suits with stretchy material. They glide just like the flying squirrel does. But it's still a very dangerous activity.
Join me again next time on Finding Stuff Out, where I'll continue to investigate your questions. Check this out. Hey, they look like you. Welcome to Finding Stuff Out, the show where you send in your questions and I find out the answers. Sorry, I'm not trying to be rude. It's just, I'm doing an experiment. Now, here's the first question from Cordell.
Why do bats sleep upside down?
The short answer is, because they don't have claws on their head to hang on with. Okay, I don't know why bats sleep upside down when they sleep, but by the end of the show, I'll have the answer to your question and a bunch of other cool stuff about sleep.
Why do we yawn when we're sleepy?
Nobody knows why we yawn when we're tired, but it's contagious, like a cold, except you don't get sick. Scientists say we yawn just from seeing other people yawn. Here's an experiment you can do with your family or your friends. Just do this. And chances are, people around you will start to yawn without even thinking about it.
Nobody knows why we yawn. Nobody knows why we yawn. When we yawn, we breathe in oxygen, get the old air out and the new air in. If you yawn, someone else will too, but we don't know why it's something we do. Cause nobody knows why we yawn. Nobody knows why we yawn. We can put a man up on the moon. We can skate on ice in the month of June. We can build a robot to mow our lawn, but nobody knows why we yawn.
Oh, sorry, I'm still doing my experiment. Were you watching carefully? Did you yawn? It turns out it works on chimps too. So next time you're at the zoo,
Gotcha! Gotcha, yeah. It's you.
Well, well, well. It seems that chimps are not the only animals that yawn. In fact, most of them do.
What happens if you sleep your whole life?
nobody knows Trevor, because no one slept for their entire life. But there are made-up stories like Rip Van Winkle. He fell asleep for 20 years, but judging by this, if you did sleep your whole life, you'd probably end up looking like Santa Claus, only without the reindeer, red suit, or presents. But in real life, nobody sleeps for 20 years in a row.
In the wild, big cats sleep up to 20 hours a day. That's this much. That means they're only awake for 4 hours a day. Because they sleep a lot, they save their energy and don't have to eat as much. Catching your dinner is tiring work.
Next question's from Talea.
How much do we sleep?
I've never really thought about how much we sleep in total, but I know that grown-ups sleep 8 hours a night.
Okay, let's see here. You do 8 hours a night times 7 days a week equals 56 times 52 weeks in a year equals 2,912 times the number of years. Oh my gosh, this is unreal! I can't handle it! Why do I even have a calculator this big?
You're gonna make my head explode!
Here we are at a brain research clinic, the perfect place to come after your head explodes and to find out how much we sleep. And here's Anita, a brain specialist.
Hi, Harrison.
Hi. So, Anita, how much time do we sleep?
Approximately 25 years.
25 years? That's a lot of time wasted sleeping. I could do so many better things like play music all night. Yeah! Play music all night! Play music all night!
Well, I'm sorry to say, Harrison, that's just impossible. You just can't do it. Your body would just fall asleep even if you didn't want to.
Shucks! Play music all night! Yeah!
How come we need sleep?
Yeah, why do we need sleep? Anita tells me that it has to do with these guys. Growth hormones. We have to sleep so much because that's when our body produces them. They make kids grow. Sleep is also the time when our body does most of its repair work.
So, not me, but that's why other kids have to sleep so much, right?
Sure.
What does your body do when you sleep?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Well, to answer that question, why don't we do a little experiment? Go put on your PJs.
PJs? Okay.
Destiny, the best way to answer your question is for me to go to sleep. With wires attached to my head.
So I'm ready to go to sleep, and these wires are gonna measure my brain activity while I'm asleep. And no, in case you're wondering, I don't sleep with a teddy bear.
The answer to what happens to your body when you're asleep is in your brain.
So, is that a real brain?
Yeah, it's a real cow's brain. It's about the size of a 12-year-old's brain.
Thanks a lot. Now I'm gonna have nightmares.
Okay, we're recording. Good night, Harrison.
So I went to sleep while a camera watched how I moved. And the wires on my head sent signals to a computer that drew my brainwaves. It showed how active my brain was. Then, Anita showed me what happened to my body while I slept.
Harrison, this is when you're awake.
Okay.
As you can see, your brain waves are smaller.
Here, my brainwaves are small. That shows that I'm still awake. Then the waves get bigger as my body slows down and I go into a light sleep.
You can see that your brain activity is starting to change.
Yeah, it goes more jagged there.
Yep, the waves are bigger, which means you're starting to fall asleep. These are what's called sleep spindles.
Okay.
So that means you're around stage 2, so you're asleep now.
Okay.
And your breathing is still constant and your muscles are still moving.
Scientists measure sleep in 5 stages. The waves show how I am asleep now, and as the night goes on, my sleep gets deeper. Then, something suddenly changes.
All of a sudden, you see really...
Wow. So yeah, that's...
a lot of fluctuations up and down.
Wow. Big change.
Yeah.
The 5th stage of sleep is when you dream. It's called REM, which stands for rapid eye movement. It's called that because our eyes move around very fast while we sleep. Our dreams feel so real, but we don't move.
And even your muscles, you can see now change completely. So your muscles are paralyzed and you can't move. And the only muscles that can move are the muscles for breathing, your eyes, and for hearing.
Wow.
It's believed we can't move because it's nature's way to prevent us from acting out our dreams and getting hurt.
How come when my sister sleepwalks, she can go up and down a ladder?
Well, we don't exactly know why people sleepwalk, but we do know that she's probably in stage 3 or 4 of her sleep because in REM, your muscles are paralyzed, so you can't move. Children tend to sleepwalk more than adults, and you tend to grow out of it.
Is it dangerous to sleepwalk?
No. You tend to do everyday activities like fold your clothes or walk up and down the stairs.
It's really weird. I'd probably go to the fridge or play drums.
Well, it's nice to know that sleepwalking is not dangerous. Except if you bump into something. That your brain is smart enough to keep your heart beating, even when you sleep. And finally, that sleep does help kids grow. We really do need to go to bed.
Thanks, Anita. And thanks a lot for the nightmares.
Are you feeling better?
Much better.
Why do we have good and bad dreams?
The Flat Earth Corner!
To sleep, perchance to dream. Why indeed do we have good and bad dreams? No! That was a scary one. But verily I believe that it was not the large, lip-smackingly yummy pepperoni pizza that I had eaten before bed that caused my bad dream. Nay, methinks it was the work of a demon! Ah! The mare part in nightmare is Old English for demon. That's because people used to think bad dreams were caused by night demons. Nowadays, we know the only person that can give you a nightmare is yourself. Though, having pizza before bedtime probably isn't the best idea. Your body wants to rest, not digest. But nightmares can't hurt you, so next time you're having one, think of an ending that's not scary. Say you have a dream that you're in your room when all of a sudden, instead of being scared, oh, you again. Yeah, I'm talking to you. You're that scary nightmare my imagination created. Well, I've decided you're not so scary anymore. Nope, you're not that scary. Instead, you're gonna be a balloon. Goodbye, nightmare. See you later. That's better. So, next time you have a bad dream, remember, you're in charge, not the thing that's scaring you. Just turn that dream into something fun, like this one, my personal favorite. I can fly! Experts say a lot of kids dream about flying. They say when we're having this kind of dream, we're allowing ourselves to experience success by using our imagination and courage. Woo! I just flew in from Las Vegas. Man, are my arms tired. Hey, what's that baby head doing in my dream?
Street smarts.
So everybody sleeps, right?
Yeah.
But I want to know about your dreams. So what is your weirdest dream you've ever had?
My weirdest dream was when I was getting chased by a giant pink robot. I turned into a director, and then I keep saying action, and everybody's not listening to me, and then a random blue pig keeps coming and dancing. My weirdest dream was when 10,000 cats were chasing me.
A dog ate me.
Your dog ate you?
Yes, he ate me, and when he spit me out, I turned into E.T.
When ninja was attacking me, like with ninja stars and stuff for no reason.
A lion comes into town and eats a chicken bone. He goes into the store, and then he eats the chicken bones from in there, and everyone runs out screaming like they're getting chased.
I turned into a Lego guy, and I had the secret lair and stuff.
My weirdest dream is when a blue kangaroo was chasing me for no reason.
My weirdest dream is when I turned into a blueberry.
A blueberry?
When I turned into a small person and a guinea pig was chasing after me.
Turned into a cloud and I floated all the way to China, and when I came back I became a new normal human again.
Well, there it is. I'll tell you that my weirdest dream was when I went to this really weird school with some really weird kids, and they started telling me about all their weird dreams.
Zombies! Dreams aren't the only thing we do when we're sleeping, as Adonijah points out.
How come when grandpas sleep, they snore so loud?
I was going to ask your grandpa, but he was sleeping. And by the way, he does snore loudly. But I checked, and anybody can snore, no matter what age they are. When you sleep, your body relaxes, including all this stuff.
When it relaxes, all that stuff in your throat blocks your air passages. So, you breathe harder to get air. Then that stuff vibrates, making the snoring noise. But we do tend to snore more as we get older. That's because our muscles get weaker. So all that stuff is looser and blocks out air passages. And that's why Grandpa snores so loud.
Even if you're young and not overweight, you can still snore.
Uh-oh. Do try this at home.
You can try the snoring experiment right now as it happens. First, tighten up your nasal cavities right here. Then, breathe in and you should be able to make a sound like this. Did you get it?
So next time you want to stay up late reading comics under the covers with a flashlight, if your parents come along,
Harrison, are you still up?
you can fool them into thinking you're sleeping.
No, I guess he's asleep.
I never told you that, all right?
Why don't fish die when they sleep?
So to answer Yaren's question, I'm here with marine specialist Nicole Can, who can answer your question. Hi. So why don't fish die when they sleep?
It's a really great question, and mostly it's because they don't sleep the same way that we do. They never get to sort of nestle into the kelp and have really sweet fishy dreams, whatever they dream about. Instead, they keep sleeping while they're swimming. So as they go around, they can shut down most of the energy levels in their bodies, keep taking in water through their mouths and passing it over their gills, but they're not really paying attention to what they're doing. They're sort of zoned out. As soon as a predator comes by, though, they can snap awake and swim away.
So it's kind of like sleepwalking.
Maybe sleep swimming.
Sleep swimming.
Do whales sleep?
So, do whales sleep?
Absolutely they do, but they sleep completely differently than we do. It's actually my favorite thing about these whales. Like Keela here, she can turn off half of her brain at a time. Because they're mammals, like we are, they have to breathe just the same as we do. But they have to think about every single breath they take. So while one half is asleep, the other half keeps them going up to the surface to grab air, and then they can switch. And they keep going back and forth until they've had enough rest, and they can get on with their day.
It's a little strange.
A little bit.
So do they sleep the same amount that we do?
Absolutely not. First of all, they never sleep for as long as we do. But some whales, dolphins, and even killer whales, when they're babies, they might not sleep at all for the first month of their life.
They don't sleep? Their parents must be more tired than mine. What about other creatures like sea otters?
Sea otters sleep too, but they do it at the surface. So they get a big group together, and sometimes they'll even actually hold paws like this to make sure that nobody floats away while they're sleeping. So everybody from whales to otters to fish, everybody sleeps, but they all sleep a little bit differently than we do. Harrison?
I checked, and it's not only sea creatures that sleep differently than we do. Monkeys and chimpanzees like to sleep in the trees where they're safer from animals that could sneak up and attack them if they were on the ground. Giraffes and elephants don't have to worry very much about getting eaten, except when they are sleeping. So they need only 3 hours of sleep a day. Birds can even snooze for 30 seconds at a time when they're in the air. That's how they manage to fly non-stop when they fly away for the winter and return in the spring. Some animals sleep during the day. They don't get busy till night, like raccoons, hamsters, fireflies, and, you guessed it, bats. And Cordell, that takes us back to your question that kicked off the show.
Why do bats sleep upside down?
The big answer is to make a quick getaway. Say, poor Mr. Bat is asleep when a hungry raccoon spots him. A bird could just quickly fly up and away, but poor old Mr. Bat can't take off fast like a bird. His wings aren't strong enough. He can only start to fly by dropping into the air. So what's a bat gonna do? Suddenly, that old raccoon lunges at Mr. Bat. Mr. Bat lets go and drops through the air. He gets up enough speed to start flying and make his getaway. Whoa, that story had me hanging on the edge of my seat. When you hang on to something, you have to think about tightening your hands around it. But for a bat, it's the opposite. Their claws naturally close. They have to consciously make them open. That keeps them from falling when they're asleep. So they have to wake up and let go and start flying. And that is why they sleep upside down. And just for the record, this position is very uncomfortable. Thanks for watching Finding Stuff Out. See you next time. Ow. Hi, welcome to Finding Stuff Out. The show is simple. You ask, I find out. It's not rocket science, unless you ask a question about rockets. Then it is. Here's today's first question. It's from Joy.
How come weather just changes to other weather, like first it's hot, then it's cold?
Yeah, what gives? Weather's always changing and I don't know why. But by the end of the show, I'll have the answer to your question. Along the way though, there'll be tornadoes, snow, hail, and if my dad doesn't fix the washing machine soon, maybe even a flood. I'm going to start the investigation with the question from Hanifa.
How could the sun be out in winter when it's cold?
Yeah, come on, son. Either you're hot or you're not. Pick a side. Pretend this light bulb is the sun. Now, lucky for you guys, I did some research on the subject. Now pretend this is the Earth, us. The Earth orbits around the sun. The sun feels hotter in the summer because the part of the Earth you live on is tilted toward the sun. 6 months later, when the Earth has moved around to the other part of the sun, the part you live on is tilted away from the sun. so we can still see it, but we're not getting the full effects of the sun's rays, so it's not as hot. Next question.
How many kinds of snowflakes are there?
How many different ones? Let's see. They say no two snowflakes are alike. And they're only this big. I wonder how many fit in a teaspoon. Must be hundreds. But when it snows, there's so many of these, you need a shovel to clear a path. That must be millions. And then you need a snowplow to clear your streets. There must be billions, or trillions, or bajillions, or gazillions, or whatever they call a number that high, and... You're gonna make my head explode! I don't know if bajillion's a number, but there must be a bajillion different snowflakes out there. But seriously, nobody knows how many different snowflakes there are. But I can show you some of them up close with my super zoom-o-matic.
Check out these snowflakes. They all sort of have 6 sides. Weird. I'm not sure if they're different or the same though. So let's see.
Different, same. Oh wait, no, different. Forget it. I'd rather look at a bajillion snowflakes all at once than each flake one at a time, because that would mean snow day! Though I'm with Elizabeth on the next question.
Why can't it just be sunny all the time?
That would be amazing, Elizabeth. To figure it out, please welcome my special guest, TV weatherman, Frank Cavallaro.
Hey, Harrison, how's it going?
Hi, Frank. Welcome to my show.
Nice to be here.
Now, did you bring your thunder for the interview today?
No, but I got something else for you.
Oh.
Some snow.
Okay, so could we have sun all the time?
I don't think so, because there's always going to be some cloud cover around, so therefore it'll block the sun's rays.
So no permanent sun?
Actually, that's a good question. You know, there's going to be a time every year, I'm going to use the globe here, there's going to be a time every year for 6 months where the North Pole, as the Earth rotates, will have daylight for 6 months.
Well, I'm just going to move there.
No, hold on now. Doesn't mean it's going to be hot. But look at what happens 6 months later. The South Pole will get the sun, and the North Pole is dark for 6 months as the Earth rotates.
Living in darkness? I'll leave that to the mushrooms. Anyway, here's a question from Shakur.
My question is, why is there wind?
The short answer is 3 being chilly. But seriously, I found out that the sun causes wind. The sun heats up the land and the air, which causes hot air to rise. Then cold air zooms in to take its place. Hey, I should make a song about this. It could be a rap. Hit it!
Yo, hot air goes up, cold air goes down. That's when we feel wind on the ground. It blows around leaves and sticks and twigs. It even blows off my grandpa's wig. Land heats fast and water slow. That changes how the wind will blow. Yeah, wind will go just where it needs, 'cause air heats up at different speeds.
All this talk about wind takes my breath away. Hey, that reminds me, I can make my own wind. See? Wind. You can measure the direction and the speed of the wind using something called a windsock. Frank will show us.
Uh-oh. Do try this at home.
Here, I brought this sock for you, Frank.
We're not here to measure smell. We're here to measure wind.
Well, I think you can also do it with a paper bag, so you can try this at home. Here, show us.
Okay, let's try this. I'm going to use a fan in this paper bag. This is a light breeze. Anything over 10, 11 kilometers an hour is a light breeze. But watch what happens if we get a gust of strong winds.
Whoa, it opened right up.
And this could cause damage to branches, trees, roofs, and your hair.
Not my hair. Yeah.
Yeah, your hair. So Harrison, you may have noticed at airports and helipads, they have these windsocks there. You know what they do?
Yeah, are they those orange things, right? I don't know what they are, though, what they do, I mean.
Well, most planes will land and take off against the wind.
Okay. So that means?
That means that they look at the windsock, and that tells them which runway to use as they're approaching the airport.
So a windsock is the airport's version of our paper bag.
That's right.
So I guess if a plane is landing, they'd be facing that way, right?
That's right.
They'd come down. Okay, so what can kids use this bag for outside?
Well, you can actually go in your backyard and take out a bag on a windy day and put up the bag, and it'll tell you how strong the winds are.
And which direction,
and which direction. And if there's no wind, then look what happens to the bag. It just dies.
Well, Frank, I just thought of another thing you can do with the paper windsock.
What's that?
Well, if you blow it up with air, and then you can make thunder. Here's another question. It's from Ben.
Where do clouds come from?
I looked it up, Ben, and I made this animation to show you where clouds come from.
So these water vapors in the air grab onto a piece of dust. And when a billion of their buddies do the same thing, we start to see them together as a cloud. The air up there is colder, so the cold air causes the water to condense. Then these drops crowd together like it's a huge party and start bumping into each other. As the droplets bump together, they form bigger and bigger droplets, and then when they're too heavy to float in the sky, they fall as rain. Here's a question from Chloe.
How do weather people know if it's gonna be sunny or not?
The Flat Earth Corner!
How does a weatherman in ancient Babylon know if it's going to be sunny or not tomorrow? Astrology, of course. If I look up in the heavens, I can see that the moon is in Virgo, in the 4th house. Jupiter is rising. That means I predict you're going to get good news, win friends, and influence poultry. Also, it's going to be sunny and mild. Mars is activating my 2nd solar house. This can't be happening! Maybe I should have dissected a chicken instead. In ancient times, people used to use the stars and the planets to try to predict the weather. But it didn't always work out. So now we have high-tech equipment that helps us predict the weather accurately. Well, most of the time. Right, Frank?
Yeah.
I guess that's a sensitive topic for you. I mean, how do you predict the weather? Do you flip a coin?
No. We use radar, satellite, we have different data, computer models that show us the jet stream, the wind, systems that are developing. We put everything together, and that's how your forecast comes out.
How come with all this high-tech equipment, you still get the weather wrong sometimes?
Well, Harrison, you know, Mother Nature's always full of surprises. The weather can change drastically very quickly.
How can the weather change so fast?
Things happen. The winds change direction, brings in colder air, temperatures drop, then the warmer air comes in, temperature goes up. It happens.
Wouldn't you be able to see the wind changing directions and stuff with all your fancy high-tech equipment?
And most of the time we do, but there are exceptions to the case where sometimes the weather just changes drastically that the computer did not pick up. But we're getting a lot better. We now have long-range forecasts. We can tell you the weather 6, 7, 8 days down the road. But I got to tell you, it's tough to do the weather sometimes, but it's fun presenting it.
Well, let's see how hard Frank's job really is with...
My Grace Challenge!
Today, my contestants are Justin and Samantha. So today, you're going to be using your knowledge of wind, clouds, and forecasting to become TV weather forecasters. Think you can do it?
Yeah.
Okay then, Frank, please tell us how you do your job on TV.
Okay, guys, follow me. So this is where it all happens, guys.
It's all green in here.
Frank says he stands in front of a green wall when he presents the weather on TV. That's because there's a technical process that takes all the green out of the picture so he can put any kind of background behind us. Like this, this, or if you're a TV weather person, a map.
This is a clicker, by the way. Every time I press on this, a different map goes on. It could be a radar, a satellite, whatever I want to show. This advances my map, so it's all computerized.
So let's show the kids at home. So they see a map behind us right now, right?
That's right. They see a map, and when I click, the map will change. And you point.
Okay, let's do the challenge. Here's a map of the world. I'm going to be telling you different weather conditions, and your mission is to try and predict the weather and where it will occur. Now, there are 5 different weather icons: sun, snow, rain, cloud, and wind.
And I'll be asking you where to place the specific icon to a corresponding city. But here's the catch. The viewers at home will see the map. You won't see the map. You're going to have to use that monitor.
It's just like how Frank does his weather forecast. Your goal is to make as few mistakes as possible.
Okay, Samantha, you're up first. Justin, you can go downstairs and have some milk and cookies with my mom.
Yes, I got the fresh ones.
Leave some for us, though.
Maybe.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, first question. Water droplets have formed giant heavy clouds over London. What's going to happen?
Oh, Samantha's going for the rain icon. Not wasting any time.
Yeah, that's it. Good job. Okay.
Next question. The hot air over Thunder Bay is rising and cold air is moving in. Go.
Samantha's grabbed the wind icon. Oh, she's close. Not quite. Yes, she's got it.
Okay. Treble cone is in the southern hemisphere, and it's July.
Well, Samantha's found the southern hemisphere, but can't seem to locate treble cone. And is that the right icon?
No,
that's not it.
Not right.
That one's a little hard.
What happens in the northern hemisphere in July?
It becomes hot.
What happens in the southern hemisphere in July?
It becomes cold. Oh.
There you go.
That's correct. It's snowing.
Okay. Water vapor is condensing over Beijing. Go ahead.
Samantha's going for the rain icon again.
No.
I'll read the question again. Water vapor is condensing over Beijing. What's happening?
Clouds.
There you go.
There you go. Perfect. And that's it. Okay, Samantha, you're done. We'll send you downstairs for some milk and cookies, and now we'll bring Justin up and see how he does. Okay, Justin, now you're up. The first question is, water droplets have formed giant heavy clouds over London. What's going to happen?
Justin wastes no time in grabbing the rain icon.
That's right.
Next question. The hot air over Thunder Bay is rising and cold air is moving in. Go.
Justin's checking out the monitor to see where Thunder Bay is.
No. Yep, there you go. That's it. Okay, treble cone is in the southern hemisphere, and it's July.
Justin also going straight for the sun.
No.
Wrong icon.
Nope.
Listen to the question carefully.
Treble cone is in the southern hemisphere. It's July.
Justin's going for the rain icon. Oh, but he changes his mind.
There you go. That's it.
Final question. Water vapor is condensing over Beijing. What's it going to be?
Justin's got the cloud icon, but where's Beijing? And Justin's found it.
All right.
And now we'll get Samantha and announce the winner. Samantha, you can come up now. Okay, and the winner is Justin.
Yes.
Good job.
Congratulations.
Good job, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
And now we have a question from Max.
Why are tornadoes dangerous if they're just air?
Yeah, how is air dangerous? I mean, I can just push it with my hands.
Well, Harrison, air could be dangerous. When the pressure starts going up and down drastically in a short period of time, it can cause some serious damage. I want to do a little demonstration on a tornado.
Okay.
And of course, tornadoes can cause some serious damage, as we all know. Look at that. The wind speed of tornadoes sometimes could hit over 400 kilometers an hour, over 250 miles an hour.
Whoa.
And the thing with tornadoes, they don't give you a lot of time to get away. They just pop up because the pressure goes down, the pressure goes up, and this is what happens. And that's why tornadoes are very, very dangerous.
That's crazy. Now to find out how dangerous tornadoes really are, let's talk to George Coronas, who's a real live storm chaser. He's out chasing storms as we speak. Hello, George. I see you're out in some terrible weather. You could catch a cold out there, you know?
Harrison, as a storm chaser, catching a cold is the least of my worries.
So, first of all, I think the kids at home probably want to know, what is a storm chaser?
Well, what I do is I try to get up close to the most dangerous part of the storm and then send in my reports so that people downstream of the storm can get those reports and hopefully save a few lives.
That sounds pretty risky. Why are tornadoes so dangerous?
Well, it certainly can be dangerous. It's not so much that the wind is blowing, it's what the wind is blowing. Pieces of debris, which could be branches, bricks, cars, sometimes even houses.
Wow.
So have you ever been inside of a tornado?
I have actually been inside a tornado once before with debris flying around. It's a very, very scary experience, one that I don't want to do again.
How'd you end up being right inside of a tornado and stuff?
Well, sometimes a tornado will change its path. I'll be tracking the storm and it will change direction, and sometimes I have to get out of the way. It's a force of nature. It can be very unpredictable at times.
So what technology do you use to help you chase?
Well, I've got all kinds of technology here in my storm chase vehicle. I've got my laptop computer that has satellite and radar imagery. I've got all my radios that I can use to send my reports in to the National Weather Service. GPS, all kinds of gadgets. It's basically a mobile command center on wheels.
So I'm pretty sure everybody watching wants to know, where do you go to the bathroom when you're chasing storms?
When you're on a storm, Harrison, anywhere you can. Anywhere you can.
That's a little awkward.
Sometimes it is. There's not a lot of trees out in Kansas, so you just have to find a place, and it's not always easy.
Do you get any adrenaline going when you're chasing the storms?
Absolutely, it's a bit of an adrenaline rush, especially when you're up close to a tornado, when the wind speed can be several hundreds of kilometers per hour. I'd be lying if I didn't say that I got some kind of adrenaline rush out of it.
Do you have to ever, drive away or, run away from storms or tornadoes?
There's been numerous times where I've had to get out of the path of a tornado to turn tail and flee. I try to do a dangerous thing in as safe a manner as possible.
Yeah.
Oh, looking at the radar right now, it looks like I might have a developing tornado on the horizon.
Are you gonna go out and chase that right now?
Yeah, it looks like I'm gonna have to blast west here. I have a developing tornado.
Wow.
Hold on, let me get the radio here. Yeah, this is George K. relaying a message. It looks like we might have a tornado forming just to my west. I'm gonna try and intercept and get closer. Harrison, I gotta go.
Well, thanks for being on the show, George. It was great to have you, and I guess you have to go chase this storm.
Okay, I'm headed straight for the tornado. Stay in touch.
Okay, be safe. Bye. Whew, George sure does love his scary weather. Speaking of scary weather, here's a question from Samantha.
Why does hail hurt so much?
Ah, hail. The snowball's angry cousin. Usually a raindrop grows until it's too heavy, and then it will fall to the ground. Matter of fact, let's check back in with my buddy, the raindrop.
Hail is created when the raindrops, instead of falling down, get blown further up to colder air. The raindrops freeze into ice, get bounced around by the wind, and get bigger and bigger until they get too heavy and fall.
This means that instead of having a gentle drop of rain, you have a painful ball of ice. Ah! It's like waking up in the middle of a snowball fight. Watch these clips that George sent us!
On George's last storm chase in Nebraska, he found hailstones as big as baseballs.
Man, weather is no joke. I've found out a lot about weather, so I think it's time to answer
Joy's question that started today's episode.
How come weather just changes to other weather, like first it's hot, then it's cold?
The big answer is... there's lots of reasons.
The tilting of the earth changes the seasons. Wind blows when the sun heats up the air. Water vapor forms clouds, and clouds block the sun.
But there's no clouds here today, so I'm gonna go outside and enjoy the beautiful day. See you next time for more Finding Stuff Out.